What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel, Just Ask Kalisa, and of course, I'm Kalisa. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Today's video is going to be about an effective way to interview for a job that you want. It sounds simple, but there are a lot of extra things you can do to nail that interview. Before I get started, I want to remind you to go down below and click that subscribe button and to turn on your notifications so that you can be aware of when I upload new content. So, you get the phone call. They want you to come in for an interview. The very first thing that I do is research the company. I like to go onto Google and put in the company's name, go to their website. When you get to their homepage, you want to look for an area called About Us. Go to their About Us section and you'll find so much information about the company. You may find out like what their motto is, when the company was founded. You'll find out the names of the CEO. You will find out just tons of valuable information. You may find out about press releases, new products being released. So the best thing for you to do is get very, very familiar with their About Me section. There's so much information that will make you look stellar at a job interview because not the typical or average person takes the time to actually go into depth about researching that company. That's my first tip. Second, you want to read reviews on the company. I like to use glassdoor.com, which I'll link below in the description box. Glassdoor typically shows reviews from previous or current employees of that company. Now, you can't make everybody happy, and companies can't either. So sometimes for a company, you may see some negative reviews or negative feedback, but it is also very enlightening to see what other people have to say about the company that you're trying to work for. I like to see what their pros and cons are with the company as far as like benefits and some of the weaknesses of the company so that you can take those things into your interview. And typically the interviewer will ask you, do you have any questions? You don't have to say, yeah, I went to Glassdoor and I read a whole bunch of negative shit and they said that y'all don't do A, B, and C. No. Things that you read on Glassdoor, make a mental note of those things and ask them about them. What are your benefits? Do you offer A, B, and C? Or, what is the team, the team dynamic like within the company? Just ask questions in regards to things that you have read, whether they were negative or positive. Another tip when you're preparing for an interview is to make sure that you have a hard copy of your updated resume. 9 times out of 10, the company that you're interviewing for already has a copy, but to take one with you, it just shows that you're on top of things because they could have misplaced it before you got there. You may have added something to it after they got it. So make sure that you have an updated hard copy of your resume. I personally keep 4 or 5 with me, just in my, my folder, just in case I need it at some point. I always keep extra copies of my resume, and whenever I update it, I like to print out multiple copies just to have, on me, or with me. Another tip would be the day before your interview, you might want to do a mock interview with somebody, whether it be your spouse or, a friend. Just see what it helps you kind of loosen up a little bit, and don't let them go easy on you because you never know what the interviewer is going to ask you. But it's just nice to kind of get a feel for what's coming up, Back to Google, you can also Google interview questions for that particular company. So if you're going to interview for, let's say, Hewlett-Packard corporate, type that into Google and see, what questions come up. Hewlett-Packard interview questions. And you'll be surprised at how much stuff you can find on a particular company from people that have already interviewed for that company or other companies, and they'll, give you kind of a feel for what you can expect, because a lot of bigger companies use the same like layout for their interview process and the questions that they're going to ask. Um, Once you get to the interview, another tip, get to your interview early. I like to do a trial run. There may be a specific door you need to enter, and they'll typically tell you that on the phone. Do a trial run, because although you're familiar with the area that this business may be in, maybe you can drive through their parking lot to see, if they have their parking lots marked, so that you'll know where you're going the day of your interview. You're not feeling rushed, you're not lost, you know exactly where you need to go, exactly where you need to be. Try to do a test run um, to get a feel for how their facility is laid out, so you know where you need to go on the day of your interview. Don't do that at the last minute. Do it the day or a couple of days before your interview. Another tip where I was going is to arrive to your interview at least 15 to 20 minutes early. Not 5 minutes, not 10 minutes. 15 to 20 minutes early is a good amount of time to arrive for an interview. It shows that you are serious, it shows that you are responsible, and it shows that you're interested. So be there early, and that's a good start to an interview. When you meet your interviewer, always extend your hand for a handshake. Introduce yourself, and think about graduation with the handshake and the diploma. Handshake and present your resume. I brought an updated copy of my resume, and just pass that off at the same time. Make eye contact and smile at the people that you encounter before you meet your interviewer. If you have to speak to someone at a reception desk, make sure that you make eye contact, that you're smiling, tell them who you're, there to see, and you just wait. Another tip would be to make sure you dress appropriately for your interview. Jeans are not appropriate for an interview. T-shirts are not appropriate for an interview. You want to wear something that is business attire, business professional attire. I'm not saying you got to go up in there in a homecoming dress or a three-piece suit, but a nice button-down shirt, tie, dress pants for males. Girls, I always like just a blazer, matching pants, nice shirt. If you don't wear high heels, that is not the day, sis, to be trying to practice in some high heels. If you wear flats to your interview. If you are comfortable in heels, wear heels to your interview. Girls, tone down the makeup for your interview. I wear eyeshadow all the time. That's kind of my thing. I don't do much to my face, just typically lip gloss, eyeshadow, some mascara, and I do my brows. But if you're a person who wears a full face, try to stick with neutral makeup colors. Maybe just a nude or a blushy colored eyeshadow. Nothing too drastic or dramatic. You don't want to give off drag queen. Just something simple. A nice nude lip, sheer lip. Nothing, no bright reds, no bright pinks. Just a very professional face. You know what I'm saying? Because you're applying for a job at a business, not at a club. So you need to look the part. I say if you don't wear high heels, that's not the day, because we all know heels are uncomfortable at some point, and if you're wearing them from your house to the car, to the job interview, down hallways, upstairs, you don't know what you're going to be doing. It might be safe to wear a lower heel or a flat for that day. If you just absolutely must wear heels, don't put them on until you are walking into the facility, just for comfort. And comfort is key. You don't want to be uncomfortable because you're already going to be under some pressure and stress. You don't need added stress because of your damn shoes. So go with a flat, go with a lower heel, go with a chunkier heel, something that is going to be more comfortable for you. I'm trying to think. Another tip would be during the interview, eye contact. Make eye contact. Acknowledge what the interviewer is saying to you with, just head movements, or, just kind of let them know that you are listening, you are taking in what they're saying. just make sure to make eye contact. Don't get fidgety. When I get nervous, I do a lot of things with my hands, and like I'm doing right now, I don't even know why. But just try to engage the interviewer, let them know that you're listening, you hear what they're saying. You don't always have to be verbal. Just let them know that you're listening and you hear them. Um, when they ask you a question, take the time to process the question before you answer it. Don't just blurt out something. Don't do a lot of Just take a moment, listen to what they said, and then even you can also repeat it back to them under your breath a little bit. So if they say, for example, what are you looking for in a company? In your mind, what am I looking for in a company? Say it back to yourself, and then give your answer. Take your time to process what they're saying, and then proceed from there. Interviews are really stressful, and it's a lot of pressure. But if you take the time to research the company, get familiar with the location, get familiar with the facility, show up looking nice, show up on time. If you plan this out, your interview will be a success. A lot of companies, I've come to realize, like it when you know about the company. Like, I swear to God, they like that a lot because it shows initiative. It shows that, okay, this person took their time to learn about us, and that's a major plus. My last bit of advice is once the interview is over, no matter how you think it went, good or bad, indifferent, send that person a thank you email for their time. I have never gone to an interview and not sent a thank you email. Before I leave, I find out the person's name, and you can Google their name for that company, figure out what the extension is for their company, send them a thank you email. You may already have it because if you've corresponded online, you may have, gotten their email address. At the bottom of an email is their signature. Find a way to send that person a thank you email for their time. Let them know that you are thankful and grateful for the opportunity, and you hope to hear from them soon. If you are unable to find their email address, then after business hours, if possible, call, and you'll normally get a company directory. Find their name in the directory and send them a voicemail. My first option is always email. Send them a thank you email. If that's not possible, then the last resort would be to leave them a voicemail and just thank them for their time. I have sent thank you emails from my car in the parking lot of an interview. It's just something that I have done for years, and as many interviews as I've done, as many jobs as I've had, I can honestly say I interview very, very well. So those are my tips. I hope they're helpful. I hope that maybe there are some things in there that you don't normally do or haven't done. If you have any questions or want some advice or opinions, my email address will be here and down below in the description box. I'll also link some websites that you can go to find out company reviews and things like that. Check those out. But that's all I got for today. You can catch me in the next one. You guys have a great day. Bye.